Alright, guys, it is Wednesday, May 4th, 2022 at 1:27 p.m. Alright, guys, let's start by looking at dailyverses.net. Verse of the day. It says, "The Lord gives sight to the blind. The Lord lifts up those who are bowed down. The Lord loves the righteous." Psalm 146, verse 8. Alright, guys, so as you know, in my channel, I give a verse of the day and I give positive feedback when it comes to news about God. Um, and here my post pinned, it says, when he comes back, he's not taking sides, he's taking over. Jesus is coming soon. When all these things that are happening in the news that I share, because I look at the news and it sometimes gets overwhelming with how many you know things are happening in the world, and I know a lot of people feel that way, that they get overwhelmed with all this chaos happening in the world. The only salvation is Jesus Christ, and looking at the news, the only peace I have is knowing that if I pray for people, that God will handle it, because we can't do anything else but give it to God. So let's take a look at the news. Alright, so we have a lot of possible tornadoes coming. Also, there's earthquakes happening. There's a 3.2 in Indonesia. Some possible weather for Florida, as you see here, coming down the line. So this is the severe weather I was just talking about happening in Oklahoma, as you see here. From Reed Timmer, says, "I see a two-pronged destabilizer this afternoon leading to a few different target areas, either southeast Texas Panhandle or just down I-44 from Oklahoma City and southwest Oklahoma along a warm front. Strong tornado potential as LLJ accelerates over one warm frontal zone." So I had been talking about the possibility of severe weather, and in Oklahoma and Texas today, there's a chance of possibility of severe weather today. They have the red bean, as I like to call it, over here between Texas and Oklahoma, as you see here. Alright, so we have slight to enhance to marginal and MDT, which is moderate, right here in the middle of Oklahoma and Texas. So severe weather for today, possible. Also, on the coast of the Carolinas, you see here South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia, there is marginal, so there's possibility of storms passing there as well. Let's take a look back and see what tomorrow's forecast is. This is day 2. We have part of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, parts of Oklahoma as well, all under enhanced, slight, and marginal. So this is for tomorrow. So today we have it over Texas and Oklahoma and parts of Arkansas, and as well as marginal for South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. And then tomorrow we have a slight over Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, and Oklahoma. So heads up, next 2 days, possible severe weather. Alright, also we've been having the sun acting up, throwing solar flares. We have a moderate M1.19 flare from the sunspot region 1304. Follow live on Space Weather. I'll leave you guys the link to my channel on Twitter, so you guys can look at all my posts and look at all these solar posts I make. The sun spits out a whole bunch of solar flares randomly. So I randomly, if you follow me on Twitter, you will see the post when there's a possibility of radio signal being down, or possibility of aurora borealis happening because there's a solar flare and it's affecting the planet. Alright, so we have Reed Timmer saying moderate risk included threat of strong tornadoes has been added to part of northwest Texas, southeast Texas Panhandle has been added by the SPC. There's the moderate, so severe weather. outlook possible. Alright, more solar stuff, possibility of tornadoes, and then this one, I think this is for May 8th. There's a possibility of a storm coming off of the Carolinas and going into the Atlantic on the GFS. It's a model run. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen. It just means that there's a possibility that on the 8th, there might be something off the coast of the eastern coast of the United States, and it could be a storm, and just keeping an eye out on that as well. Alright, so also there have been protests due to that Roe v. Wade court issue, and there's been protests going out, people protesting on the streets in Los Angeles. There's a handful of protests and standoff in LAPD. Officers in riot gear moved to clear out the crowd. One officer got hurt. That is by Leanne Suter 13 hours ago. So there's more protests going on because of what's happening with Roe v. Wade. So please be aware the LAPD has traffic advisory. There's currently a large march in the DTLA area. Please use caution driving while people are marching. Expect delays. That was 14 hours ago, but who knows if they're still probably marching right now in LA. So heads up for you guys who live in California. Alright, more earthquakes. There were plenty of earthquakes last night. Multiple 3s and 4s, as you see here in Mexico. Earthquake monitor 4.0, Guerrero, Mexico. There were a couple that I had retweeted and kept of 3.4 in Chile, of 4.0 in Mexico. Alright, also more than 200 sailors were moved off an aircraft carrier after multiple suicides. So please pray for the people in these aircraft carriers who are in the Navy and the Air Force and the Marines who are armed forces. Please pray for them because they're going through a bout of multiple suicides, and they need your prayers because that it must be tough going through everything plus being serving in the military. Alright, so here again we have ABC Witness News saying abortion rights protests clash with police downtown as a day of peaceful protest ends in sporadic skirmishes. Now the LAPD is on citywide tactical alert as one officer is injured. This happened 12 hours ago in LA. So heads up for LA again. As well as breaking news that Dave Chappelle was attacked on stage at the Hollywood Bowl. The suspect was taken away in the ambulance. Apparently, the suspect rushed Dave Chappelle while he was doing his comic stand-up on stage, and he skirmished with the security guards, and the security guards, I think, broke his arm. So it is quite sad to hear that happening, but that happened last night. Oh, as well as an earthquake of 5.2 in Chile 10 hours ago. So multiple earthquakes, all this stuff happening with the riots and Dave Chappelle and all these things. Give it to prayer, give it to God, because God is the only one that can handle all the things that are happening. God will give you peace. Alright, so we have Eyewitness News remembering the godfather of soul, James Brown, who was born on this day in 1933. That was 16 hours ago. James Brown, having a memory for him. Alright, let's go now to Strange Sounds. Let's see if there's any interesting news. Okay, the best way to survive a famine is to prepare before the panic, so get ready now. I agree with that. Please make sure that, first of all, you have God. Second, you prepare the best you can with canned goods, food, water. Especially now the hurricane season is coming up. It is a great time to start getting prepared, getting the things you need slowly. If you don't have a lot of money, slowly buy canned goods and start accumulating them for when hurricane season and now the possibility of the lack of food. People say, "Oh, our government doesn't let us know that to stockpile food." In actuality, our government has. A couple years ago, FEMA let us know that to stockpile at least 6 months worth of food in our homes. I had covered that in a video before, that FEMA said to stockpile at least 6 months worth of food. So the best way to do it is to slowly start stacking up bags of rice, bags of pasta, beans, canned corn, canned goods that you can store away and have saved just in case. It's just an easy, basic preparedness for the possibility of food not being around because of all the things that are happening in the world right now. With Ukraine, goods are not going to be around that long with all the famine threats, with all the drought happening in the western side of the country. It might be hard to produce grains and possibility that food might be scarce. So start getting prepared now that you can. All right, guys. Now, while you can, while they're still not, rushing to buy. Excuse me. While people aren't rushing to, buy food and basically hoard in a panic. It's best to do it now when everything's calm. All right. Let's take a look next at Zero Hedge. The U.S. East Coast diesel stockpiles hit record low as fuel crisis nears. The diesel shortfall is nearing crisis levels. Let's take a look at this article, see what it has to say about the gas. It says the U.S. East Coast diesel stockpiles hit record low as fuel crisis nears. We noticed Tuesday evening diesel day quickly approaches, though it might already be here. The U.S. East Coast distillate inventories plunged to a record low, according to new government data. Weekly petroleum data from Energy Information Administration. Crude oil inventories show the East Coast distillate inventories are the lowest ever, dropping just 22.4 million barrels. So you see the graph here of how much stockpiled gas we have, and we are here at the lowest on the bottom right. So we have very few amount of barrels of oil. As is one of the reasons the drop in East Coast refinery capacity has plunged over the last decade, leaving the region vulnerable to squeezes, according to Bloomberg's Javier Blas. In the past 15 years, the number of refineries in the U.S. East Coast has halved to just 7. The closures have reduced the region's oil processing capacity to just 818,000 barrels per day, down to 1.64 million barrels per day in 2009. The 2009 oil processing capacity of the U.S. East Coast has halved since. So it's gone down and gone down again. So it's very few amount of oil. It says today, total U.S. refinery utilization capacity has plunged from 96% in February to 86% at the end of April. Also, the U.S. has halted energy imports from Russia. So we are very low amounts of oil in our refineries. So I'll leave you guys the link to this article so you guys can check it out. Alright. Let's go back to Zero Hedge, see what else they have. Okay, it says Ukraine says communications with trap fighters in Azovstal has gone dark. Prior reports indicate Russian forces stormed the plant, while Kremlin denies it. Alright, so please pray for the people of Ukraine still battling with Russia. Alright, and also Dave Chappelle attacked on stage by armed man. We covered that. Also, Tucker Carlson reminds America that its current president voted against Roe v. Wade. So that is there. Alright. And then Hunter's laptop amid shift, CNN, Politico, and Daily Beast sued by repairman who blew the whistle. Without any intel, the head of the Intel committee decided to share with CNN and the viewers a complete and utter lie. So who knows exactly what's going on with this Hunter laptop thing, but I'll leave you guys the link to the article so you guys can check it out as well. Alright guys, let's take a look at the Mike's weather page one last time. We have storm prediction for today, severe weather in this area and in the eastern coast of South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. And we have Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and parts of Arkansas all getting in the area of enhanced to moderate severe weather. So please pray for the people in Oklahoma and Texas and the East Coast. And then tomorrow we have Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, possible severe weather. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I just wanted to share to stay motivated. Stay in the Lord, stay in Jesus, because without Jesus we are nothing. And if we stay motivated and in peace in Jesus, we can get through anything. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Hit like and subscribe for more. God bless you guys. See you guys next time.